All right, let us say hello to Justin Gaethje, two-time UFC title challenger, former interim UFC lightweight champ, former World Series of Fighting champion, one of the most exciting fighters, in my opinion, in the history of the sport. But he is also teaming up with the UFC and Modelo to help renovate Tapera Boxing Club in Denver after tragedy unfortunately struck earlier this year. So I'm glad to have Justin on to talk about that and much more. Justin, how are you, my man?
I'm doing great. Yes, sir. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So for those who weren't aware, to add a little bit of context to this, the gym was founded in 2011 by Joaquin Romero. It's been a staple in the community ever since. But in February, Joaquin was killed in an unfortunate hit and run accident. And now Joaquin's father, Oscar, has taken the reins to fulfill his son's legacy. And with this revitalization program, the gym's gotten some much needed renovations, new equipment, rings, new bags, doors, mirrors, lockers, and the list goes on. And this is just another example of how, Justin, the MMA community comes together when one of its own is in need. So, and that's what's happening here. So, Justin, you're obviously a big part of this. How did you get brought into the fold here?
Yes. So I did some appearances for Modelo at one of these UFC events out in I think it was Vegas. And I think I talked to one of them about, teaming up and being part of a gym refurbishment here in Denver. And I was, completely on board, right off the bat.
What has, this all meant to you, not just from an MMA perspective, but like you said, a community perspective as well? Because like we mentioned, the gym has been there for over a decade. It's been a pillar in the community. And after a tragedy like this, to be able to be a part of something like this, to revitalize and help this family out, what has that meant to you personally?
Yeah, I mean, this gym, I just left there. I just got home. And this gym is right up the street from one of the schools that my best friend teaches at. It's not what you would consider, it's not Cherry Creek. It's not the Scottsdale of Phoenix. This is just people working. There's a ton of good food, tell you that. But these kids are looking for opportunities. And, the boxing gym is such a good path to get aggression out. I mean, you're not asking them to go play piano, to play an instrument. I mean, they're still getting aggression out. These kids are so hyperactive. And there's so many distractions in a city when it comes to being, that age group, being around their peers that are getting in trouble. And so for, every fighter that's in the UFC or every boxer that's fighting on a pay-per-view or even not on a pay-per-view started in a gym just like this. And without these gyms across the nation, we would be, there wouldn't be fighting. There wouldn't be kids with avenues to go out there and find, things to keep them occupied. So I think that's the biggest takeaway for me is being able to, and again, these gyms aren't, there's no gyms aren't there to make money. They're not there to be rich. They're there to provide to the community, to be an outlet for kids, for adults to, stay in shape, be healthy, and stay out of trouble. So, I mean, it's perfect. I'm glad we picked this gym. It's in the perfect location. It's a good cause. It goes right along with Modelo. Not where you're from, what you're made of. That's what we're doing.
Well said. And you said you just got back from there. What was the day at the club like? What was the experience like? And just seeing it all come together. What did you see? What was it like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think they received around 50 to 100 new pairs of boxing gloves. I mean, that's huge for a gym like that. That's going to last them the whole year. New bags to hit, new mats. I mean, we were hanging up bags. They got some really cool bags, different designs that they're probably not used to seeing. So that's new speed bags. So it's all good. Like I said, it's in they've been expanding a lot. They've expanded a lot since COVID kind of kicked off. And there was a class outside waiting to come inside when I left. And they were all pumped up to work out. So
do you hope to be part of more of these in the future, whether it be in the Denver area or outside of it?
Yeah, I mean, so I can't harp on this enough. My college degree was human services, social work. These are opportunities that I look for every day. And I just flew back from Vegas to do a charity event for first responders and veterans, and I get to come back and do. I mean, this makes me happy. It brings me peace, and I get to help out. So it's perfect.
Awesome stuff. Kudos to you for getting involved. Now, I want to transition a little bit to you because We last saw you compete in May against Charles Oliveira for the title. It didn't go your way. And we talked to you at the Hall of Fame red carpet in July. And you talked about how you learned a lot from that fight. And you also mentioned that you were getting some nose surgery. You wanted to clear some things up before you came back. So how did that go? And how are you feeling now?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It was 13 years, no nose. I've had two of my senses pretty much broken and then fixed, my eyes and my nose. And I don't know which one's better. I mean, can't imagine not being able to see, but being able to see 20/20 is something special. But being able to anticipate your food, sleep, and just really just live how we're supposed to. Having two methods of oxygen intake is something I'm really enjoying right now.
You said 13 years, no nose. Is there a moment that you can pinpoint, like the last time you could smell food and get prepared for it and things like that? Can you remember the last time you felt like this?
No, I don't. I mean, so whenever this happened, I was wrestling in college. I was in the middle of a wrestling season in the middle, so I was cutting weight. No. And pretty much the entire time before that, I was living in college with eating McDonald's. So no, I don't miss that. I don't remember that, but yeah, it's cool. You get to eat good food now. So it's really good to just enjoy it as much as I should.
I'm glad you're feeling better. Have you thought about, I mean, I'm sure you have, but like, do you have a timeline in mind on when you might be able to return?
I told him next year. Yeah, I told him next year. I'm starting to work out now. I'm back in a regular routine. But yeah, I wanted, one thing we have over other sports is, the body is resilient, but you have to give it time. I got hit really hard. I had a hard camp. And I wanted to take a break. It was nice that I got to get my nose fixed. They got to fight for the title. Someone's got to fight the loser. Chandler and Poirier are going to fight. Someone's got to fight the winner. I'll be ready next year. Ideally, I mean, January, February, March, whatever they want to do. But I'm not sure when Kamaru's going to London, but I wouldn't mind fighting in London.
Yeah. And then, Beneil Dariush and Mateusz Gamrot are fighting on the UFC 280 card as well. So Are you just thinking sort of like one of the pieces of that sort of 6-man puzzle right now makes sense? Does anybody else sort of stand out to you?
I mean, again, I'm back to training. You're drawing bigger pictures and better pictures than me. I'm a day at a quarter mile at a time type of guy. So, first and foremost, I need to get my strength back. I need to get back into cardiovascular shape. I'm going to really concentrate on, grappling and lifting weights for a month. And then, my cardio, the crazy thing is I've been eating so healthy since I fought. My numbers when it comes to my 2-3 mile times, I'm hitting the same numbers I was hitting at the end of my camps. So I feel great, but again, that the natural break that I needed is going to be huge for my, for my confidence, for my health, all that stuff. Nobody's looking out for us other than ourselves. So I'm going to make those choices. So
I'm glad you sort of gave some time early next year, because reports did surface on social media that the UFC was trying to put together a fight between you and Rafael Fiziev for UFC 282 in December. I mean, we checked into it, didn't get a lot from that, but did that ever get offered to you from your knowledge?
No. I told them I wasn't fighting this year, so why would they offer it to me?
Yeah, that's what I thought. You know how these social media sites work sometimes.
Crazy place.
It definitely is.
That's where I find out who I'm fighting usually, so you never know.
Okay. I know things between you and Conor McGregor haven't obviously been cordial, to say the least, but just kind of looking at that matchup. I mean, obviously Conor's a huge name. It's great for you and for the bank account, obviously. And I'm sure there's a big part of you that would like to get in there and fight him for your own reasons. But to me, and we've talked about this with my colleagues that I've conversed with about this potential matchmaking, the fight between the two of you guys on paper might be the most exciting matchup in UFC history. Like two guys who get in there looking to finish. You're looking to get out of there as quickly as possible. I don't know, man. Like, I feel like before you guys turn the page, this fight needs to happen at some point, depending on when he's ready to come back, what your schedule looks like. I feel like this is the fight to make within the next 12 months.
I mean, who knows? I mean, if everybody would remember correctly, I fought Cowboy, I beat Cowboy, and then he fought Cowboy right after that. I was primed, ready to go. Sounds to me like he's off taking steroids right now. He hasn't been drug tested by USADA in quite some time. I'm looking for a fair competition. You know, if he's on steroids, then give me steroids and let's go. Yeah, I'm down with that. But my health is my biggest factor. I have never taken a performance enhancing drug, and I do not want to fight people that are taking performance enhancing drugs. So again, even if I don't even know how it works. I don't even know how steroids work. I'm sure there's windows. I'm sure he'd be fine. I'm sure he can come back and be clean. But the fact that he hasn't been being drug tested tells me he's been off taking steroids, you know, whether to heal his leg or not. If I break my leg, I'm not taking steroids to heal my leg. So that's going to be the title of our thing. I'd rather it not be. But he had the chance to fight me. He didn't fight me. He picked Cowboy. So, yeah. I mean, whatever. Who cares? Who knows? Maybe. I'm sure he's confident that much more confident now that he could beat me. He clearly didn't take that fight then because he, you know, wasn't confident. So maybe he's more confident now and more willing to dance. Who knows?
Two last quick things. I ran off your list of accolades when I introduced you here. And there was a time where you were a few fights into your UFC run and you sort of put a shelf life on everything and you only had this many fights left. And it seems like obviously you've changed course a bit over the years as your career has progressed. And now you have this new sense literally with the nose and it's all good. But what else do you feel is there for you to prove or accomplish? Is it winning the title? Is there other benchmarks that you strive to hit? Like what else do you have left on the bucket list?
Yeah, I mean, so that specific quote is I'll have four or five more wars. Since then, I believe I've only had one. So it looks like I got 3 or 4 left in the tank. But it's probably closer to 2 or 3 fights like the Charles fight. But ultimately, my goal is to be the world champion. You know, I like to follow the correct process. I think I need 2 wins, possibly 3, but hopefully 2 knockouts in the first round, you know, gets me right back into title contention. You know, I don't think that as soon as I maybe don't believe or have confidence that I can be the best in the world, then I have no reason to keep going.
Do you have a pick for the title fight yet?
I don't. I mean, it could be an amazing fight, but it could be extremely, you know, boring. Makhachev probably wins by decision, but Oliveira has been super impressive. So I don't know. I think whoever is hanging out on their back foot is going to lose. I don't see Makhachev being on his back foot, and Charles is going to make it a point to not be on his back foot. But can Makhachev put him there is going to be the biggest factor.
Well, Justin, I don't want to take up too much more of your time, my man. Congrats on the nose. I'm glad 13 years is a freaking long time, man. And now you have this new outlook on life, so to speak. You can enjoy food now. You can enjoy that it's coming your way. So thank you very much again for this incredible stuff with Modelo and the UFC and the gym revitalization program. Glad you could be a part of it. Is there anything else you want to say in regards to that before we wrap up here?
No, I mean, just looking forward to the next opportunity, whether it's a different state. You know, I like to stick around Colorado. I'm from Arizona. So I know this is their second gym refurbishment they've done. So I'm looking forward to the next one.
Awesome. Great stuff, Justin. Thanks again. All the best to you and excited to see what's next for you sometime in 2023, my man.
All right. Thank you, man. Have a good one.